You probably wouldn't say is the same as the runner's high exactly. Maybe similar in a way as you do feel a high of a sort. Euphoria is probably more correct definition. But I myself, from my experience would say it's much more like the second wind that a runner gets when he or she reaches that point of exhaustion. When the body releases a chemical, endorphins or adrenaline I would imagine. Maybe even both? I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm no human biology expert. Giving the body a sudden sustained boost of energy to see him through to the end. I would imagine the timing of which is determined by a kind of physical programming and conditioning from continued training for a set distance. Anyway, in saying that, I guess being reaction from a chemical release, you could technically say it is a high. But for myself it was more of a natural release of burden and weight, than a lightness and euphoric happiness because of it. Or to explain it as metaphor. I felt like David Bowie's Major Tom from his album Space Oddity. That had finally come back down to earth after losing connection from a dead circuit and being lost and alone in the cold empty vacuum and darkness of space for so long. I was back, I had returned. As that was exactly what it felt like. I had been reborn, or set free from some long incarceration or confinement. But as it happened at what I would determine as probably exactly about halfway through my life. Basing that upon statistics of the norm. The average lifespan of a reasonably healthy man is about 80 years old. Fingers crossed. I say midway as it happened for me at about 40 years old. Though it didn't happen overnight, that's about when it started. So this sudden release and feeling of freedom was to me similar, I imagine, to the second wind of a runner. Or climbing a mountain and struggling up the steep incline, then reaching the top and starting down the other side. It's easier going downhill back to flat ground at the bottom where everything is flatter, more level. Yes, the bottom is of course flat because it signifies my death and the end of my life. The flat line. The mountain metaphorically is the spike of the heartbeat of one tiny tree in the eternity of the much bigger tree of life. But as I've learned from my continued learning and gaining of knowledge that started back at 40 years old, and still continues gaining mass to this very day at a rather surprising speed. That only those that have experienced it themselves would probably believe. I am also led to understand that each person that does has their own unique gift and skill that awakens at the same time as well. Almost like a superpower. But being sure never to forget that as well as being a gift it is also in its balance a curse. Yet this seems to be my gift, the understanding and deciphering of the Codex Matrix. Which I now know is really the Matrix. As this old dog defied what they said and learned a new trick. This old dog doesn't play with balls and a stick going back and forth etc. For no real purposeful meaning. If I'm going to chase something I am now going to make sure what I'm chasing is worthwhile catching. Dogs will chase cats, it's pretty much in their nature to do so. But I learned there's only one cat worth. Let's call this cat Top Cat. Archie. As I have heard others say, she is the cat's mother. Imagine my twin is born before me, comes into life first and gets a head start. Then I am born and begin life after her. Then if you see the bigger picture as an eternal lifeline. Then on that lifeline I am chasing my twin and trying to catch her, but I cannot. As by the very nature or the beginning, uphill, downhill, end and then begin again. When I was still climbing up, she was already on her way down and picking up speed. So now I'm on the downhill and she is just ahead, she will still reach the end before I catch her. So what can I do? Well, I need her to turn around and look back. I need to get her attention or do something that will give her cause to turn and look back and take pause. Ah, menopause. Menopause equals in use poem equals open amuse equals me no pause. No way I'm going the distance, I'm going all the way, I ain't stopping until I get to heaven. I've lost enough time of my life already and that lost time was not spent having the time of my life. I must sing and sing loud and clear. I must sing the duet once again. This dog must howl at the full moon. When the seventh son of the seventh son becomes lichen and howls at the full moon that triggered his transformation. Lycanthrope. Equals see he lawn party equals see he only part equals he RC toy play equals C plan theory. HOOWWWWL It's said that emptiness makes the loudest noise. Yes, my howl is hollow. As he who has the last laugh, laughs loudest. Who could be this anonymous laugher? Hollow equals who lol. She is my hallowed ground. He howls because his alone, he is calling to a she-wolf. Calling to his partner. His other half that makes him whole, the half that completes him. His twin flame, his twin soul. As no matter how far apart, no distance or amount of time can separate what was created as one from one. They are connected no matter what. So to get he to turn around. I call to her, I howl, I sing the duet, I become the muse. When the fat lady sings, then it's over. See father equals see fat her equals here's fate equals she free at equals is the free. Remember before I mentioned that in the beginning I felt like I'd been set free after a long confinement? Done confinement equals innocent of end in me. What I was charged, sentenced and judged for, was the crime of emotional suicide. She, the big boss lady, the fat lady, wanted to know who was responsible for me dying inside and my life coming to a grinding halt and falling apart. As just like an insurance company, she karma. My fairy godmother if you like. I'll say those last two words again, godmother. Yeah, I use lots of metaphors I know, all part of my gift, but it helped me understand what I met her for. Glad I was found innocent as I was on death row. So the dream I once had that I lost, I now get in reality as I get to start anew due to what I guess is her way of compensating me. Not that I expected it or sought after any. I would never have considered I was entitled to any. But apparently due to the fact diverting that was the chain of events that caused me to lose so much within my life was all as a result of someone else's actions. That stole my life from me as what they did changed my life to something other than it was supposed to be. The like I had planned for myself. The dream I had. As row 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 your boat gently up the stream, merrily 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 life is but a dream. But I was stuck up the creek without a paddle. It's the dream I was supposed to make come true. Dream equals are made. So apparently I get to start again. But not exactly sure how it works, but I think it's got something to do with our projected thoughts traveling faster than the speed of light, much like neutrinos do. As from what I understand, they are very similar to. They are not part of the whole electron, atom and matter makeup of reality and therefore don't become part of it or really even interact with matter at all. Except to pass on information to electrons and onto matter. Essentially making and creating our own reality. Brining our own dream into reality and making our own wish come true. As wish equals was his. It was denied to me, stolen from me. Sure, I may have failed in my life at making it come true and fulfilling my wish. But fact is I never really had a chance from the start and never truly got to try. So maybe some projected thought time travel to have my twin hear it across time. It's my seventh heaven. As the letter G equals 7 and I turn another sin into sing and there it begins. Yep, for me it's the second wind. It'll blow you away. The muse born of abuse and is one of misuse. This is muse. He with the most toys at the end wins. Just a theory equals he our toy equals her toy. Now please do yourself a favor and go to YouTube and look up and listen to these songs. His Imaginary World by Abney Park. Until Eternity by Blackbriar and I Am Somebody by Bliss Neso. Bliss Neso equals as be lesson equals so I blessin. I art he who art in heaven. The Lost City equals velocity equals love city. Thought. It's worth having a think about. But know this, before you can think it you have to sink it. Link it. But blink and you'll miss it.